Hello, this is TelecomTV. We're in California, in San Francisco, at IoT World, and I'm talking with Greg Knowles, who's Program Director, IoT Analytics at IBM. Greg, welcome. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you, Martin.
IoT means big data. There's an enormous amount of data that comes from any IoT service or application. So let's begin with that. How do you manage that amount of data within an IoT context?
That's a real challenge with IoT. There's data coming in from hundreds of thousands, if not millions or billions of devices. So we have to manage data on multiple levels. One, we manage data at the edge of the network. We want to throw out the data that we don't need to come back to a centralized database that we don't need for analytics and that sort of thing. So we figure out what data is important and what data is not. So we do a little bit of that filtering at the edge. And then we summarize data. And then we apply analytics and incorporate that data into our applications.
With the end result being what? What are you trying to do when you're doing that?
Well, number one, we want to help our customers get insights about what's going on with their things, their connected devices, their assets, their vehicles.
How close are we to seeing IoT being pervasive? A lot of M2M around now, but IoT is a different kettle of fish.
There's no question. I would say IoT is almost pervasive already today. If you look at certain industries, connected things have been around for years, 20 years, 30 years, especially in industrial. With SCADA systems, the operational systems, historians, they're collecting data about all kinds of things today.
Another thing, of course, which IoT is predicated on is innovation and continuing innovation. How does IBM help in that regard, and can you have continually evolving innovation?
That's a great question. What's really fundamentally changing is the speed of innovation these days with IoT. The ubiquity of communication capabilities, the price of sensors and computing power has all dropped dramatically. So we've lowered a lot of the thresholds and the hurdles to connecting to things and getting data from them. So innovation is exploding because we're seeing new sensors, new connectivity, new things connected to the internet that were not previously connected. So one of our key ingredients in driving innovation is our platform called Bluemix. So we've created a presence in our Bluemix environment called the Internet of Things Zone. And this zone pulls together all of the services that we think are necessary to drive and build Internet of Things applications. What makes Bluemix so powerful is the ability to very quickly spin up new platforms, new services, and integrate data and analytics services from a variety of sources. And that is a true fuel for innovation because it's very easy to build out new applications, to scale them up, to prototype them, throw out the bad ones, adjust, and move on.
You mentioned third-party data. What are the challenges and the opportunities there, and how secure are these matters?
Well, we're taking security very seriously. We want to secure from the devices all the way to the cloud, and we're working with partners like Texas Instruments to do that today. So third-party data is another interesting point. We're talking to more and more customers who want to monetize the data that they currently have access to. Of course, we're helping them to anonymize that data so that we're not sharing personal information about their customers. And we're working with customers like the Weather Company, who runs one of the largest Internet of Things types of infrastructures today. They have hundreds of thousands of weather stations and remote sensors where they're collecting weather information. They're making millions of weather forecasts and predictions a day. And through Bluemix, we can integrate that information into our IoT applications to give customers additional insight about how their assets behave under different weather conditions.
Data in context, you mentioned before we actually turn the cameras on. Tell us about that. Why is it important? What are the challenges there?
Well, the data is meaningless until you can put it in context. Okay, so one of the first things that we want to enable customers to do is to map IoT data, right? So I've got an IP connected device, I've got a MAC address. I need to be able to map that to a model of an asset that sits somewhere else in my enterprise, probably some system like your enterprise asset management system, maybe in your ERP, and be able to put that data in the context of that true representation within my enterprise.
Good. Well, there's a screen here. Blue Mix is written on it, but I know there's something more that you're going to show us beyond that. It's very interesting, this, because of course I've already seen it once, but can we have a look at it?
Absolutely. So what I'm going to show you now real quickly is a real-world example of a customer that we've been working with since we launched the service last year back in October. They were actually one of our beta customers. The company is called Silverhook Powerboats, and they had two problems that they were trying to tackle. Number one, they needed to be able to get data off the boats in near real time in order to make operational decisions about how hard they're running the boat, what kind of decisions they make about driving the boat, steering, where the competition is relative, and that sort of thing. So it was an operational focus on the one hand, but on the other hand, they wanted to try to improve the fan experience. Okay, so Silverhook has a very nice 3D environment that they can use to model what's going on in the race course in near real time. So they took this same data, delivered to their fans in near real time, and developed an app for them that allows them to see from a bird's eye view what's going out on the water with the boats. So would you like to take a look?
Yeah, I would, please.
All right, so we'll start up this YouTube video. And this is a very quick demo overview that the Silverhook guys put together based on the fan experience they're able to provide with the live data coming off the boat.
So we're somewhere off the coast of somewhere. It looks like somewhere in Europe to me, but it might not be.
I believe it is.
And there's a powerboat.
So this is the Lucas Oil Powerboat. It's cruising along at over 100 miles per hour. They're capturing data about the operation of the boat, the current status of the boat in near real time, and providing that both to their fans and to the operations staff. But not only have they instrumented the boat, but they're starting to instrument the drivers, because they want to understand the stress level and the kind of pressure and the environmental circumstances around the drivers as well.
So it's doing 115 miles an hour. So it's bouncing about a bit on there.
Absolutely. When there are other videos that show the live boat, and it's coming out of the water quite a bit. It's not as smooth as this may appear here all the time.
122 miles an hour now.
And so with the technology, they're able to track in real time the distance between the boats. Are they gaining? Are they losing ground?
How many sensors were on the boat, do you know?
I believe there are close to 100 sensors on the boat.
And that goes directly out by what? By microwave or by...
That goes out over wireless, and using MQTT comes to our cloud environment,
Yep.
and then gets rendered in this environment for the fans and for their operations staff with very low latency, sub-second latency.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Yes.